Good morning, Year 9, and welcome to your Year 9 Options Assembly. I'm absolutely delighted to be able to present to you today on this really exciting moment in your school career. You're about to embark on the second phase of your secondary schooling, and you've got some choices to make and some options about what that will look like. We're going to go through those today and to make sure that you've got plenty of information about the process that's starting right now, so that you can make some really informed choices about what you want to do for the next 2 years, what you're going to learn over the next 2 years, and then hopefully what's going to happen after that when you leave us at Blatchington Mill. The first thing I'd like to start with is just to reflect that this is actually a real moment of excitement and opportunity for you. You won't have had the chance to choose what you study in a large way before. You've been directed throughout years 7, 8 and 9 in the curriculum that we've chosen. Now, we have a really broad and balanced and fascinating curriculum here at Blatch, but this is a moment for you to narrow that down a little bit, in the sense that you're going to be learning plenty about the subjects you choose, but some of those things you're really passionate about are going to be the places you can keep your focus. What's going to happen by the end of it? Well, you're going to have learned a lot more. You're going to be even more confident and resilient as learners, and hopefully you'll have some excellent exam results to show for it that allow you to move on to the next stage of your schooling, whether that be an apprenticeship, a T-level, A-levels, other things at college, whatever that might be. We want this next 2 years to be enabling for you to do that. Let's start by looking at some dates of things that are about to happen. The first of that, to really draw your attention to, is that the options form will become available online on Friday, 11th of March. We are deliberately doing this assembly slightly earlier than that in order for you to have time to kind of assimilate the information that we're telling you and to read some of the documentation that we're going to send out. And then the form will come out on Sims for you to select those options. Prior to that, in order to help you with those decisions, we've got online question and answer events. These are like our options evenings, but what we do now is we do them online, and it's an opportunity for you to hear directly from the head of each subject what it would be like to study those. Now, we'll send out the links to those separately using the website, but they're on Wednesday the 2nd and Thursday the 3rd of March next week. They're in the evening. You can sit at home with your parents on your Chromebook watching those Q&As to find out a little bit more about those subjects. I'll put up some of the more details about that later. After that 11th of March form becomes available, the important deadline for you to know about is Monday the 4th of April is when those forms must be completed. They need to be back with us in order for us to start considering the options you want to take and drawing up the timetable. We can't have forms coming back late, obviously, because that affects us drawing up the timetable and then what subjects we can put on. And finally, at the start of June and July, your subject choices are confirmed. So you'll get notification of the subjects you will be studying based around the choices you've made. And then in September, those courses will start. That's it. They're the main dates for you to consider going forward. Let's carry on. So what matters to us at Blatchington Mill when it comes to this process? Well, it's really important to us that you are studying a broad and a balanced curriculum. That is really, really crucial, because what that means to us is that you are having the full suite of opportunities to learn new content and new skills that will take you forward in life. We want you also to gain qualifications that enable you to access the next stage of your education. That's really important too. It's not the most important thing, but we need to set you up in order for you to make choices about your next stage and have lots of doors open to you. And we also want you to be able to compete nationally, internationally, for prestigious university places, apprenticeships, and with employers that lots of people will want to work for or work with. It's a fact that when you leave school, you will be in competition for jobs, for places at education establishments, and we want to set you up for that. And our choices around our curriculum, our choices around our expectations of student conduct are all geared towards getting you ready for that. So what are these next 2 years going to be like? Well, there's going to be more challenging content to get stuck into, and that's a great thing. That means that the stuff that you're going to be learning is going to really test you. It's going to really stretch you to learn more, and that is also going to make sure that it interests you. You are going to need to revise more. You're going to need to do more work outside of school. You're going to need to start making notes in your courses from the start to be ready for those exams. You will sit those exams. They're an inevitability at the end. But you need to make sure that it's not just the work you do in school, although that's got to be really brilliant. You're really prepared to do that extra work as well. It'll be hard work, but we will give you lots of support. Your teachers know how to work your way through these exams. The school in general knows how to support you, and we'll make sure you're able to work really hard. It'll also be enjoyable. You will be fascinated by the things that you learn, no doubt about it. You'll be successful in the things that you learn. You'll enjoy spending time in new classes with other students who've selected those subjects specifically, who also enjoy it just like you. And as a result, you're going to be able to plan for your future, to think, is this something I really love and I want to take on after the age of 16? And then as we move on, we expect you to work in every single subject as hard as you can. So that's one thing to be really aware of. You have some core content and some options, but every single one of the subjects you're going to put your level best into. And I think to summarize this first section, we can sit and look at this quote that we've used before in assemblies, and it's attitude determines altitude. Altitude being how high you go, how far you go in life. And it really is about your attitude now. Making these choices in the right way and applying yourself to those new choices is what is going to make sure that by the end of your time with Blatchington Mill and in the future, whatever you want to do, you have those options open to you and you're successful. So let's get down to some specifics about what you will study. The core. English literature and language, 2 GCSEs, every student studies them on their timetable, and they're normally taught by the same 1 or 2 teachers that you'll have for both of them. Mathematics, every student must study mathematics. Science, you'll have a choice here. You'll all do combined science unless you choose triple science as an option. Core physical education. Everybody has to do PE. There isn't an opt-out here in one form or another. There's no exam at the end, but it's a part of the requirement that schools continue to keep you healthy, physically fit, and learning about physical education. Personal, social, health education, citizenship, and RE and worldviews. I put that last one in bold because I think it's particularly fascinating. You will carry on, although you won't have an exam, learning about PHSE and those important life issues, educating you about society, personal health issues, relationship issues. You'll learn about what it means to be a global citizen in those sessions as well, but also you'll carry on learning about different worldviews, the way different people see the world. And there's never a time where that is not relevant to you, where that's not important to understand other people's perspectives, not just from a religious point of view, but also from what they might think philosophically or the context that they come from, the culture they come from. So we teach you in those lessons about the way different people see the world to broaden your horizons and understand what life is like beyond the area that we live in. Then you've got some choices. So you've got your core, and this will come out next week in a booklet. It's quite a lengthy booklet where we've explained all the different choices to you. Within that, you'll see a little write-up of what each GCSE or BTEC option is that you can take and what you'll study on them. That'll keep you really well informed and allow you to make that decision about that is a subject that I want to learn. Your first choice. Now, there are some limitations around what you can and can't choose. Your first choice must be something that is active, involves making, creation, performance, investigation, or experimentation. This is really important to us at Blatchington Mill. We don't shoehorn students into just doing a purely traditionally academic curriculum. We want you to have the opportunity to make sure that you're having a really broad curriculum. And this is so important since we've come the other side now, hopefully, of the pandemic, where you've had an IT-based experience, lots of indoor-based experience. We need to make sure that you've got the opportunity to do those other things that you haven't done perhaps at Key Stage 3. So one of your options must come from that suite you can see at the bottom there, from art through to triple science. There's lots in there, including geography, drama, design, technology, lots of things that you can choose from. But one of them must be from that range of active, creation, performance, investigation style subjects. Your second choice is going to be your language. We expect students to do a language at Blatchington Mill School, and why not? They are taught absolutely phenomenally. I know you will agree with me that the language teaching here is absolutely supreme. And in fact, that's partly because we were, until the programme ended, one of 9 leading hub schools nationally. And we continue that work in being a school that really promotes language teaching. And at Blatchington Mill, you are getting some of the most impressive teaching, the most cutting edge, up-to-date teaching methods that there are. So we expect you to choose a language, and you've got a choice of French, Spanish, and Latin. So you must choose one of those. Lastly, you get your 2 free choices. Now, this is a really exciting moment where you can look at what are the things that I really love learning about, and therefore, what am I going to take going forward? And the choices there, if I just scroll back for a second, are in the boxes there. This encompasses all the different GCSEs that we offer, so they're all on there. You can choose any 2 of those in addition to the active option at the beginning and the language. So you might choose sociology and sport BTEC. You might choose photography and drama, as well as those other options there. There are a few limitations that you'll find in the booklet, and if I move my face from it there, you can see you're not able, for example, to take art and design, photography and textiles. Only one of those can be taken. You can't take all three or two of them because it's effectively the same kind of GCSE. You can't do drama and stage production. You can't do music BTEC and music GCSE. You can't do PE and sport BTEC. You need to choose one of them if that's what you want to do. But do know it's fine to take art and design technology, for example, or photography and design technology. That's no problem with that at all because they are sufficiently different. So that's it. You have your three choices there. You have your starting active experimentation option. You have your second, your language, and then you have your two free choices at the end. Lots and lots to think about and choose from. A few extra bits for you to think about before we get towards the end of the presentation today. Changing courses later. We need to flag this up to students and obviously to parents and carers who are watching as well. You're not going to be able to change the course. Once your course has started, that'll be the course you're on. So it's important to take these choices really seriously. In an ideal world, we'd be able to give students a little bit of time with them, but actually that's just not how a timetable works in a secondary school. We would have we'd be seeing significant impact on other pupils. We'd be having to move other pupils out of sessions in order to find space. Most of our courses are full. There's no more room in those classrooms. So choose very carefully. Make sure the choice is always the school's and not a parent, carer or child's about any kind of change. And invariably, the option is no, that you have to continue that course. So do think carefully about it. Dropping subjects. This doesn't happen at Blatchington Middle School. It's not a way to make the curriculum more manageable. You need to study the whole suite of GCSEs here. Some people do ask. The answer is always invariably no. You need to carry on with them. We don't have space to house students separately with staff. And so you need to make sure you make those options things that you enjoy, even more than the ones that you're good at. Make sure you enjoy them. And finally, reserve choices. We do make every effort to make sure you get those options, those four options that you select. However, occasionally, some of them are matched up against each other because of the amount of teachers we have or the subject might be quite small, and you have to have a reserve option. So you'll be asked to select a reserve choice, which is a subject that it's not your number one and number two in the free options, but it's your third. You still wouldn't mind studying it. You still enjoy it. So you need to put that down just in case that's the one that you're required to study. And there are students every year that happens to, but not too many. So just some little bits. There's no dropping subjects. There won't be any change of courses later, and you need to make some reserve choices. So let's carry on. Just a little note on the higher project qualification. We are going to have three different subjects next year that you can take as enrichment additional options. One will be Arabic, one will be further maths that you'll hear more about, and this is the third one. It's a GCSE level qualification that prepares you for an A-level extended project. Universities and higher education institutions love this. It's an opportunity to study something you're really passionate about, a project on a topic of your choice. It could be something very specific about a sport that you play, the tactics to do with it. It could be how to build a computer. It could be something to do with a project like in current affairs, like Brexit, for example. It doesn't matter what it is, something you love, something musical, and you get to carry out a project that explores that a little more and shows your understanding of it. It's really brilliant, and it takes place in extracurricular activity. You're all invited to participate in it, and Mr. Leonce runs those classes after school. So if you're interested, there'll be an opportunity to select that later. What do you need to do now? Have a think about this assembly. Talk and read through that booklet that's going to be sent to you at the end of the week. So just to repeat, your options booklet will be sent to you by the end of the week on email and to your parents. Read through and start to make decisions. Make those decisions and then reflect on them. All of that can take place before the 11th of March. And we deliberately put that date a little bit later so you can go through this process. Don't rush it and try and fill in that form. There's no points for filling it in first. You just need to hit it by the deadline, okay? By putting your form in early doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to get the options that you want. So take your time over this. It's super important. Right, a little bit of information about how you need to choose. Think about what you might want to do when you leave us at college or at university. Some subjects like taking triple science will be important if you want to do medicine, for example. Have a look on the UCAS website that's linked there and the details in the options booklet about what different courses at universities that you might already have in mind. Some of you don't, and that's absolutely fine. But have a look at that and kind of make your choice around that. Think about what you might want to do next after GCSE. You've got loads of options: T-levels, apprenticeships, A-levels, IB from some colleges. You might want to work or volunteer for a certain amount of time or do an internship or even an apprenticeship. There's lots of different options. And again, the booklet has more detail on that. How not to choose. This is almost as important about what to think about. So it's what my friends are doing. Joe said I should do this, so I might as well. I can't think of anything else to do. I like Mrs. A. I'll do her subject. I don't like Mr. V. I'm not doing his subject. I'll try it and see if I like it. None of these are things that you should consider. There's no guarantee of the children that will be in the classroom with you. In fact, it's good to work on the presumption that you won't be with your friends if you select a subject, especially if there are a number of classes with it, because that's not how we select those classes. Don't do it on the basis of one teacher, because they might not be your teacher. And equally, if you don't particularly, you're not feeling you're working well with one particular teacher, don't be put off by the subjects. It could be somebody else. And definitely don't go just with what your friends are doing. You need to choose what you are passionate about, what you're going to work at after school, what you're going to revise for, what you're going to enjoy as well. It's good to think about subjects that you're good at and you're successful at, but it's more important to think about the ones that you enjoy and not just doing what your friends will do. Okay, so really important things not to consider. I think you probably know that, but it's worth saying. What should you do? Take your time. Don't rush. You'll regret it. You'll be doing this for 2 years, so really think a lot about it. Make those choices around what you enjoy. Listen and ask for advice. Your parents and carers are there to talk to you. They've been there with you on your education journey to date. Hear what they've got to say. Think about those following things. What skills and qualities are needed for a career when you're older? What will you not be able to do if you don't take a subject now? What might you want to do at sixth form college? What do you enjoy studying? Is there a preferred type of learning you like? Are you quite hands-on and practical, for example? And does DT really fit with you? Read that options booklet. Read it carefully. Try and read it by the end of the week after you get it, and then think about those choices. Finally, this will be in the booklet, but it's also on the slides here. You can see when the different talks are for that online question and answer event. So you don't have to attend every single one. Don't feel you've got to sit on your laptop all of both evenings. You might say, I really love the idea of design technology, and I love the idea of music. I'm going to listen to this one, and I'm also going to listen to English and science, because I'm definitely going to be doing those as a core subject. So just select those things that you want to do. And a final reminder, your form will look like this, and we'll send that out to you on the 11th, and you'll make your selections on Sims. It's very straightforward, and it guides you through that process. The deadline is Monday, the 4th of April. And finally, enjoy making your decisions. It's been quite a long assembly, this. I really enjoy doing it each year because I want to make sure I convey all the detail to you. Enjoy. It's a wonderful process, this. You deserve to really make some fantastic choices. Think about it carefully. Think about the advice I've given you. Look out for that booklet on email. And best of luck.